Ray White, how are you?
Good, Ray.
I'm all right, thank you, Jack. I'm okay. I'm probably colder than you, but I'm all right.
Yeah, you look like you're rugged up there, brother. So
Well, that's right,
you can
yeah.
have that.
Dialing in from nice, cold, wet Seymour in Victoria.
Yeah, no, you can
Seymour,
have it,
yeah.
brother. Yeah.
That's
All
not
right.
nice,
So
baby.
over to
Yeah.
you, CJ. Take it away with your acknowledgement, and then
Oh,
we'll come back
yes.
and have the arm with Ray.
Okay, so I'm a fair way up north from Ray. It's just a little bit. I'm up in Port Douglas. So it's Kukulalaji people up here. This is the country of the Kukulalaji people, and I'm so grateful to be here, acknowledging them, of course, and their ancestors. Safe passage through this part of the world. But also, I'd like to shout out to my mob down in Cairns, so Gimoy, the Yirinji people, and also from my dad's side is the Badigal people from Bardu Island up in Torres Strait. So a bit of Aboriginal, bit of Torres Strait Islander, and I've found a lot of other things too, but on the way. But it's interesting because I'm up here at the moment, and I know that my grandfather used to live up at Rocky Point for many years. So he's used to live up that way. So I'm kind of close to him at the moment. So that's my acknowledgement. Of course, always to elders past and present, mate.
Beautifully done, brother, as always. Thank you. I too just want to acknowledge all the traditional custodians where we work, meet, and play, and just acknowledge all our old people, our ancestors, for fighting that hard battle that they did to get us where we are today. And we're in a little place called Tugum near Harvey Bay. Tugum means place of rest, so that's a nice little place to be, I think, and it is a very restful place as well. I just want to acknowledge the Butchulla mob up here, and also I want to acknowledge my mob, the Muddy Muddy people down there in southwestern New South Wales, and yeah, just again thank all our old people, our ancestors, for getting us where we are today. Tonight we have Ray White coming on to have a yarn about whatever he wants, really. But I heard a little bit of his story yesterday, and it's an intriguing story. So we'll hand it over to Ray. You introduce yourself, brother. Tell us your mob. Tell us where you're at, and fire away, brother. Over to you.
Yes.
Thanks, Jack. That's a bit of a build-up. Only disappointed after that. G'day, my name's Ray. I'm a Jaja Wrong man and proud of it. I work and live on Tungarung country, good country, and not far from Yorta Yorta, where I love to go up on the Murray River and get really grounded. So thanks for having me on, Jack. I appreciate that, and I guess I'll tell my story, and hopefully my learnings in life that is over 50 years now can help out other people. But I grew up in Bendigo, back on country, and spent a lot of time out on country with my old man. We grew up as a family, but normal family. The one thing that I had trouble with is learning about my heritage, even from my father, who he really struggled to talk about it. In fact, blatantly sort of refused. So he had a torrid upbringing. I learned more and more as I go now. After he passed at 47-year-old, it's funny you learn more about sort of people sometimes when they're not about, when other people are prepared to talk. And he had a torrid upbringing. He was one of about 14 kids, and his father actually didn't even get to appear on his birth certificate. My dad's birth certificate actually had no one, as father. So I actually, really feel he was a bit ripped off with that, and being able to really acknowledge, his heritage and his people. And my surname actually should be Bullock, as a result. So all of my family, of the kids in Dad's family, there was 3 different sort of sets, I suppose you can call it that, and all have the same surname. you know, and you know, go back and have a look and up my family tree and whatnot, and work out that yeah, life could have been quite different, I suppose, even with a different surname. Yeah, so yeah, it's been an interesting journey, Jeff. I'm on a journey, and I probably will be till I die. Just learning and you know, learning every day about that, and having to start learning at an older age. I call it older, you know, late 20s and that 30 to start, you know, opening your eyes and ears and heart and all that sort of stuff to learn. So yeah, it was interesting. He passed at 47. He had some blood clot issues and aneurysm and stroke, and then you know, his father died at 47. So I actually grew up, Jack and CJ, convinced that 47 was my number. You know, I grew up not making any plans after 47, and I honestly believed it. I even sought help and, you know, talked to a professional, and just couldn't shake it. And I know it drove my missus bananas, because she just couldn't get through to me. Yeah, so that was an interesting, well, years. And then I turned 47, and I thought, oh, bloody hell, what do I do now? I had no mental plan. Yeah, so that was interesting. But I've just decided to, you know, immerse myself in a bit more learning, you know, culturally, and I've so moved jobs, and at that point I changed job, and now I work in public service, and I've got far more opportunity to learn and do programs. You know, and it's wonderful. I just wish I'd had this opportunity as a kid, you know, to learn about mob and country, and understand why I feel so good about going to country, and why I'm not comfortable in the city, and you know, it's just country all the way for me. Yeah, so I think I was telling you the other day, Jack, I had some, you know, some issues last year, and I started having seizures, multiple seizures a day. You know, and they vary from, you know, funny eyes, and right up to, you know, a couple of bad ones where I couldn't walk, talk, pick up a bottle of water. You know, first one hit me when I was driving. Actually, I didn't know what to do. Just lost all sense. But I'm a bloke, and I ignored it. Thought it was normal. You know, ignore that. Yeah, it's just a headache and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure you blokes know what that's like. We're the worst bloody self-patients ever. Yeah, but let it go for a little while, and then I had a bad one, and I got forced to go to the doctor, and the doctor basically yelled at me and sent me to the hospital and said I was a ticking time bomb. Yeah, so I don't know if you want me to bore you with the details, but I went through, you know, some scans.
Please do, mate, because I think, you know, like after we're having that yarn yesterday, and you know, like I think fellas, especially fellas, need to hear some of these details, because, and as I was saying to you, Ray, like the three of us have all been through, you know, similar health issues, I suppose. So yeah, look, I think it's, and I think it's worthwhile to talk about, you know, what you went through and those sort of things, because just like if we can get through to, you know, look, just a couple of fellas, I think it's, and not just fellas either. I mean, our girls as well. I mean, some of them are pretty stubborn as well. So
I'm married to a stubborn one, mate.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that, brother. I mean, you're braver than me, so.
No, don't say that. No.
I've got 47. I reached 47. I'm fine from here. It's all good.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that journey, brother. Okay. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, well, you know, you get, you know, you get sent to the specialists, and you know, I spent a fair bit of time going in and out of those MRI tubes and all that sort of thing, and brain scans, and you know, they found a partial blocked artery in my brain, and whilst they were doing that, they found a bulging at the back of my neck, which look, I couldn't tell you the technical terms. I'm not smart enough to remember all that, but you know, they used at one point the term early onset aneurysm. That sort of made me sit up and listen, because my father had passed due to stroke and aneurysm as well. So here I am, sort of in perfect patient for those things.
Mm.
You know, and I guess whilst we're doing all of that, you know, they couldn't quite explain the seizures and the different seizures and things I was having. And it turns out, you know, something in the brain and the blockage and what was happening there has caused the brain to misfire and develop epilepsy. You know, which
Oh,
I think Ray Boy might have dropped out, but
oh no, I'm back.
we're still there.
Sorry.
Okay.
Just your camera dropped out, Ray.
It's right, yeah.
Yeah.
About that, sorry.
We can still hear you, brother, but
just can't see you.
Okay, I can't hear you properly. I'll keep going then. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I developed that, and I quite frankly I didn't know what to do. I had to sort of readjust. I've only heard bad stories about all of those things and epilepsy, and you know, here I am at sort of 50 plus, learning how to sort of cope with this. So on lots of medication all of a sudden, and body reacting as it does, not very well. You know, I really had a hard time, probably more mentally, to be honest, gents, if I can sort of be totally open and honest, and I can talk about it now far easier. But I actually, you know, I probably went into my shell, and I was embarrassed, and I felt almost shamed, you know, shamed to be, you know, to talk about it. And it really sort of got to the point where I avoided things, and I avoided conversation, and I didn't tell. It took a while to tell family, and you know, and I didn't really want to do it, and it was really playing on my mind a lot. You know, thinking about, you know, what I'd done and why, you know, I was having these ups and downs, and you know, a bad day was bad, and a good day was super good. But on a bad day, I was impulsive and you know, reckless, and you know, changing medication, and it was, you know, mentally. I think, you know, I kept thinking you're old enough to know to deal with this, you know, and you should be stronger and better and all of those things, but it just wasn't the case. And you know, it wasn't until I started, you know, talking about it, I actually felt like a weight lift, and you know, it was okay to talk about it. And then I realised, by not telling sort of people around me, I was actually burdening them, because if something happened and I hit the deck, they would know, you know, what to do. And you know, I'd put them in a situation where, you know, they wouldn't know what to do. And you know, if I was in that situation, I'd feel really bad, not really knowing what to do to help. So I guess ongoing, I, you know, talk people through what I do, and if I fall over, what the best course of action is to do. But the thing for me, I think, fellas, is I don't know, I've just learnt to be able to, you know, it's not about being brave to talk about it. It's about being sensible and smart, and helping others help you. You know, I've got lots of other things going on at the moment. You know, I've got, you know, family who gone from having I was telling Jack, you know, a lump in the head to stage 3 cancer in 4 weeks. So, you know, sometimes there are signs, and we just ignore them as blokes. Well, you know, some of us, a lot of us. My learning out there, and you know, to all the fellas and the girls, is it's okay to not be sure and go and ask a question, because, gee, if I had have, you know, asked a question a bit sooner, I might have been feeling a bit better sooner myself, and not stressing out my family, worrying about whether or not I was going to, you know, keel over on one of the episodes I was having.
Yeah, definitely.
No, mate. Yeah, it's sort of yeah, it does question a lot of stuff. You know, you question yourself, you question why. You know, you're reluctant to talk about it. Definitely your father, you know, my dad had a stroke. He had a cardiovascular problem, I suppose, but he ended up having a stroke and left him paralysed. And then he had another big stroke. Probably this is 1973, and he passed away. But in that same year, my grandfather died as well. He was a bit older, but Dad wasn't that old, I suppose. But it sort of rings a few alarm bells. I think. I went through the same thing with. I've got, as Jack will know, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, so I had the whole operation. Got it all out. What's that? Whatever that. And then I started to wonder if any of my uncles or my parents or my grandparents had the same thing, and whether or not it's important for me now to talk about it to my sons and and anyone else that wants to know. You know what I mean? It's really does take the weight off your shoulders talking about it, Ray. Yeah, and you've certainly doing the right thing. In fact, I had a guy ring me up from Australia this morning and just talked about that. He's told me that he's got prostate cancer. He wants to know some information, some advice, I suppose. And so he's weighing up what treatment he needs to have. So it's kind of really good that he was able to do that, and he knew that I'm happy to talk about it. That's the main thing. And you don't want other fellas going down that path where you don't know what's going to happen or what you need to do, all that kind of stuff. So there's certainly other blokes around that have gone through the process already. But yeah, and it's it's a little bit you're kind of down my path as well, because my parents died when I was young. So around 33, I started looking at family trees and stuff, doing some research. So finding out who I was, I suppose, my identity, I suppose. And that's really important. We talk about this a lot, Jack.
I was just going to say, when I had to see the cardiologist recently, and he went through, like the family history, and whether mum, whether dad, whether her parents, his parents had any cardiovascular disease, and how genetically linked it is. So it was really interesting hearing that side. And, like he was saying, like I've got 6 brothers and sisters, so make sure I go and tell them, about, what I've just been through. Go and tell my kids that they need to get checked and that, because of the genetic side of things, So it sort of, like it makes sense, but it sort of wakes you up a bit as well. It gives you a bit of a kick in the ass, you know what I mean? That you got to go and tell your own daughters and that they need to be checked, and it's sort of like Ray was saying before about that shame factor and that, and you feel like a bit like, oh shit, is that my fault? You know what I mean? And even when the cardiologist was talking about, because you're Aboriginal, you've got a higher risk of cardiovascular disease and those sort of things, So it really does give you a wake up, and I know, like, I don't want to bring Ray back in the conversation too, but like the stuff that he was telling me he was going through yesterday, it's just like it's and it's not like we need to hear it. Like people need to hear this, because like we were also saying that there might be something that us three as advocates for men's health can do. You know what I mean? So it's just something that sort of rings true to all of us. And if we can help a couple of fellas, I mean, I think that's well done. So
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a huge learning though, isn't it? Like you've got to look after yourself. It's the whole aeroplane thing. Put your own mask on before you can help others. But putting your own mask on, I reckon's harder. For me, I'd rather help someone else than help myself. You can't do that if you're crook and not capable.
Yeah, I think I think probably the day after I got the diagnosis, I went straight online, started talking about it, mate. So, I wanted everyone else to know that you need to actually go and get your PSA your blood's there. You need to go and get a checkup, really, basically, and make it a regular thing. So you're not you're better off knowing about it than not knowing about it, I'd say. Anyway, like you said, you don't know whether you could be walking around one day and all of a sudden, you fall over and that's it. So,
well, I think you're spot on, CJ. I mean, like even with my episode that I had in Bali, I didn't have any prior warning, so there was no, there's no signs or symptoms or anything like that. So it was just that little pain, and it's not how people describe it, like that that crushing feeling in your chest. It was a little pain going through my left nipple and a little bit of pain into my left bicep. So, there was no other telltale sign. There was no nausea. There's no dizziness. There was no shortness of breath. My blood pressure was okay. And they did an ECG, and the ECG was fine as well. But it was until what you just said before, the blood test. They did a blood test to find the troponin levels, and that's when they realised something was wrong. So if there's more than 200 in your bloodstream of troponin, then that means that the troponin is leaking into your blood system, which means there's damage to your heart. So that was the only way they found mine. So again, I mean, it's really important that we do get those checkups and we do, follow up and like, just thank goodness you did that, Ray, as well. Like you went in and you took notice of what you got, and and then they even found the other one on the back of your neck. So
yeah, it's we've got to stop being stubborn, don't we? We've got to stop thinking we're okay, and we're weak by going to see a doctor. But gee, when they start talking technical terms and outcomes and possibilities and medications, and you got to stop and sit up and take it seriously. And I think we talked about it yesterday, Jack. I'd much rather learn, if possible, from someone else than having to go through it the hard way. So if anyone out there is not sure, go and get checked out or talk about it, because it's hard to do at the start, but it gets easier.
You're right, mate. Yeah, the other thing you talked about as well, and how your physical health actually affects your mental health. So, which is something that you can sort of go back into your shell and say nothing. You know what I mean? But when you're dealing with family that love you, and obviously, you've got mates as well and friends, if they don't know that you've got this problem, this health issue, they think you're still okay. You know what I mean? They think you're still the same person, but you are the same person, but you've got this thing to deal with, and sometimes they pick it up. They know that something's wrong.
And I guess too, CJ and Ray, I mean, the thing is that with these sort of things that happen with health, there's no physical signs of it. If you've got a broken arm, you've got a broken arm. It's in a sling or whatever. So people can see that. But people looking at you or Ray, you don't see that. So there has to be some discussion about it. And I get it, Ray. I mean, I know that I struggled a bit last week and the week before, not just with the physical side of things, when the medication kicked in and, it dropped my heart rate to 39 and stuff like that. I mean, it's just, and the amount that played on my mental health was, look, I thought to myself, I can't live like this if this is what it's like, you know what I mean? So it's it really is about having that yarn about it, because you're not on your own. There's other people out there that have been through the same, and I go back to CJ, Charlie, and think, like how much he shares about what he's been through, and I think that's can only be a good thing for other fellas to, and women, of course, because even with the prostate stuff, women need to know about it as well. It's the same as us need to know about, women's problems, and, you know, and we've talked about this before, CJ. You know, with
Yeah,
even
definitely. Yeah.
you know, the different side of things. Yes, it is. It is our business. It is our partner's business. You know, and how much how much they go through by looking after us as well. So.
That's right, brother. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Those menopause conversations we had with several women in here, and what they have to go through. They have their ups and downs in terms of their mental health. You know what I mean? It kind of dictates how they feel, really. And sometimes it's not nice, but we need to understand that that's what one of the symptoms are. This is what happens.
Definitely. And a big shout out to Auntie April too. She's off to Seattle, so she's on the plane off to Seattle today. So safe travels.
Safe travels, yeah. But yeah, Ray, it's really important, I suppose. You need to, that's if you're up to it. Some guys don't like doing that. Same thing. We talked about it here earlier that they don't like talking about what they went through. But sometimes we've all said here that that could save someone else's life if they haven't got checked. Sometimes I didn't have any symptoms. I just went into the health centre, Aboriginal Health Centre, and just got my all my bloods done. Did a health check, and that's when I found out. So, having that health check really stopped me from stop whatever cancer I had spreading through other places in my body. You know what I mean? So. It's really important to go and get that health check every 6 months. Yeah, mate. Yeah. So, brother, how did the family kind of react once you got all those diagnoses?
I'm afraid Ray might have dropped out again, did he?
Did he? Oh.
Ray, you still there, brother? Oh, good. I might see if we can get him to log back in, eh?
Yeah, do that, mate. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. No, look, and it is so important, isn't it, CJ? I mean, we again talk about a lot of this stuff, and I think that we do need to have those conversations, and like you're right with like we need to be able to get people to have a yarn about it, they understand more about it, and like I mean it is scary. I mean it's no doubt very scary. So I've just got Ray come back on. You there, Ray? Ray.
Oh
no,
he's not there.
He mightn't have paid his internet bill this time, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, mate, I've just had some bloods done. Got back into Australia, went to see my doctor, and got some bloods done to see how I'm travelling. And prostate stuff seems to be okay at this point, but I'm kind of pre-diabetic, so and also having some problems with my kidney function. So I've got to lose a bit of weight.
Lifestyle change, brother.
Yep, it is, mate. It is.
Sorry, gents. All this age and all this learning, and I don't know how to operate a phone properly. My apologies.
We just said, mate, you mightn't have paid the internet bill. So.
I think I'm being punished, and I'm surprised you haven't picked on me for my footy team. But we've all got our problems, haven't we?
Well, yeah, mate. I can't really pick on you for anything to do with AFL, mate. So, even though my nephew's there and he said up the baggers, so good on you, Troy.
Oh no!
You fellas are doing well. Hey, listen, we've won the last 3, right? So,
yeah. Well, I'm there anyway. The weather's nice. Let's change the subject real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I lost the last few minutes. I apologise.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. Yeah, I did ask you when you might have dropped out how everyone around you has reacted in terms of some of the stuff you've been going through, I suppose. So has it been?
Yeah. Do you know what? CJ, I probably didn't give enough credit, to be honest. I thought it was my problem. But it's been amazing. And I think back and God, why wouldn't they be there? Have been for everything else. And my wife, Kate, she puts up with me, my highs and lows, and even now I have bad days. And I was telling Jack, I think while I've got work and Monday to Friday, and I'm really sort of trying to be switched on. I get that distraction. Come weekends, I find myself starting about 50 jobs each day. I live on a bit of land, and I have trouble bloody finishing them. Start something, like a magpie, something shiny comes up over there, some off over there, and so I think that sometimes I have these days I'm all over the shop, and she doesn't know what the hell I'm doing, but it's just that keeping the brain busy to not stopping and thinking too much. Not that I'm capable of thinking that much, CJ, to be honest, but yeah, it's just that just that support, and I think you just got to let them in and tell them. Yeah,
tell them that's right, mate. Yeah, let them know how you feel and all that sort of stuff. And there's a bit of good thing that what it is, what it's all about. You know what I mean? And have a think about what what you need to do to improve your situation. That's it. There's always something that you can do that'll help you along the way. You know what I mean? So, but one of them you recognise is that talking about is a really good thing to be doing.
It took me a while to learn that, Jack. Slow bloody learner.
Yeah.
And it's never too late, I suppose, unless it is, until it is too late.
Yeah.
But it's. I mean, even these sorts of things. This yarn and chat with Jack. It's just like, wow. There are people out there with same problems or the same challenges, all that stuff. But it's you don't know until you're prepared to open up, I suppose. And that vulnerability word that no one really likes. I even have trouble saying it. But yeah, I'm learning a lot. Really learning a lot about it. And just talking to you fellas, it's good as well.
Well, I mean, you said it yesterday, Ray, and like when I was talking to you, and I thought, oh shit, here, this lady's telling me, that he felt shamed when it happened, and then I'm thinking that's exactly how I felt, but I hadn't expressed it, and you do like with my case here, I'm not allowed to lift anything for 10 weeks, and I was telling Ray yesterday, CJ Bella's moving on this week, so I can't go and help her, and she lives up a couple of different on the second floor on one, and then the second she's moving to a second floor on another one. So I'm not allowed to walk the stairs, and I'm not allowed to lift anything. So you feel a little bit useless as well, So because you want to be there for people, but and as you say, people can't see. They look at you and go, "Geez, you look all right." You look like you're going okay. So so it is something that was really good to have a yarn to you yesterday, Ray, about it, to be able to go, "Oh shit, that's how I feel." Because I know that, when we go out somewhere, I know Lisa LB is gonna go tell people that I've had a heart attack, and I go, "Can you stop telling people I've had a heart attack?" Well, you did, and I said, "Yeah, but it feels so bad, So
yeah. Especially you, Jack. You're so bloody.
That's right. That's it. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the thing too. People and it's good that it's been out there, because people have been contacted and saying, if it happened to you and you're so fit, because I was supposed to run a half marathon the next morning, so it's and I'd been flying with me run. It was just unbelievable, and you got a fully blocked coronary artery there, so it's amazing. I mean, as I said to you yesterday, and as I've said to you, CJ, I feel blessed. I feel so grateful that I got that second chance, and I know, talking to you yesterday, Ray, you said the same thing, and it does open your eyes up, and you feel you feel like you really did get another go at it, because as we've all said, like I know, my grandparents died before I was born, with heart disease. So it is something that we need to know about, and it's something that we do need to talk about. And I think this is why I just thought it was an amazing story, that you had, Ray. And I did say to you that CJ will share his story, and and I think it's fellas like us, like the on the ground fellas that are going to be able to help others, and people trust in, well, not everyone trusts us, but a lot of people trust us in what we say, and so I think it's really important that we do. And I did say to you too, Ray, look, there might be something that the three of us can do around, awareness for others and things like that. Right.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah,
Yeah, agree. I liked what you said yesterday too, Jack. You said, well, even if it's just a couple of fellas, to start with.
Yeah.
It's, and might people go, oh, crap, I hadn't thought about that, or yeah, I had feeling a bit off. It's okay to go and get checked out. In this day and age, it can happen real quick. You don't have to, go for lots and lots of tests.
And I think too, like, especially with what CJ went through, and there was a lot of stigma around, prostate checks and all that kind of stuff. And now it's different, isn't it, CJ? So
well, yeah, it's just a blood test these days. Back in the day, I guess they would have had the examination, I guess, the evasive kind of thing. But no, it's just a blood test these days. But like I said to you, JB, it's not only what we've just gone through, what I've just gone through, and I'm still going through it. It's nearly 10 years, mate. I was diagnosed back in 2016. And, so it's been 10 years since I was diagnosed. I had the operation in 2017 to remove my prostate. So, but I was just saying, Ray, that I went, we've been doing a lot of traveling. We've been overseas for the last 11 to 12 months, and came back here, went to see the family doctor and got some bloods done, as we do, as we should. And now I've got to worry about being pre-diabetic, and also liver function's failing a little bit. So I've got to lose a bit of weight, and at least, they found what it was, and they've given me kind of the treatment for it. So this is what you need. This is the script. Lose 10 kilos, cut out on your sugars and your carbs, you know what I mean? So I've got to stop doing that sort of stuff. So, but, a bloke that loves, bread and all other things, rice, I've got to stop doing that, yeah.
Well, genetics is something else too, isn't it? Like, I think Jack touched on it before. I couldn't quite hear properly, but in the hospital, and they come and say, more likely to have clots and problems, as a black fella, and same with diabetes, and even liver, and we have to be honest about that as well. And if we, like you see that, you're taking it serious. If you don't, then you're bloody crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And there are things we can do in our lifestyle that, helps us at least mediate that a bit, you know what I mean? And keeps us going, sort of stuff. So, but if we don't go and get it checked, that's, we'll never know the answer. We'll never know the answer. That, what's that thing? If you don't ask, the answer's always no. So
you're never going to know.
Never going to know. Yeah. That's right.
It's too late.
Yeah, well, many people don't get the opportunity, do they? Because they don't get, the precursor, or I suppose some lot do and ignore it, don't they?
Well, it was interesting. It was interesting talking to the cardiologist, and his stats on it were that the type that I had, only 30% survive it. So it's not real good numbers, but I'm pretty. I'm stoked to still be here. So I'm one of the that's 1 in 3 that survive. So 2 out of 3 pass away from that sort of stuff. So
your fitness obviously helped you, Jack. Like that has to have worked in your favour.
I mean, that's what the doctor said when we got to ER. He said, I think because you're so fit, that's that's one reason. And the other reason was because I took an aspirin. And like, this is just way out there. There's so many way out there things with our story when it happened. You know, like, I think I was saying to you yesterday, Ray, about, you know, when I went to get some snacks and that for the plane trip over, and I picked up this aspirin. We don't even take aspirin, you know, we don't have aspirin in the house. I picked up this aspirin, put it in the trolley, and when we landed in Bali, I took an aspirin because I had that pain. So, you know, it's just little things like that, and it's just been a weird experience, and it really so good, you know. And like, I can't talk highly enough of, you know, the hospital system in Bali. I mean, just absolutely, seriously, fantastic. And Dr. Wayan that operated on me, just the coolest dude ever. So he was like a rock star. So
he's on your Christmas list there, isn't he?
Yeah. And then, like, talking to the cardiologist back here, he was so impressed by what Dr. Wayan did, because he said it was an unusual blockage. So, you know, like, it was. I was probably lucky that when we were in the operating theatre, that I couldn't understand what they were saying because they were talking in Balinese. So, but there was a few, like, anxious moments there, I think, and you know, but it all come good in the end. And like, he was pumped when he finished. So yeah, it was just amazing stuff. Just amazing stuff. So.
I suppose it's always good, I guess, when you see the surgeon come in and he's happy, as opposed to you don't see him come in at all.
The only bad thing, a little side story, that the only bad thing was, so look, I'm awake during the thing, and if people know me, I can't stay still, you know what I mean? So they're going to me, now you got to lay here and you can't move, and I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to do this, you know? And I'm laying there and I'm going, oh no, I've got to move, you know? And in the end, when it was okay. And then the thing was, they come back, and so they finished and they showed me, you know, what they've done, and I'm thinking, oh, that's just amazing, you know what I mean? And
Wow.
I said, can you go and explain to my wife, because Lisa LB was outside, you know, waiting, and then so the nurse goes out and says, oh, the doctor wants to see you, and LB goes, is Jack okay? And he goes, and there was a bit of communication problems there, you know what I mean? And the nurse goes, no, the doctor wants to see you. So he walks in with Lisa into the adjoining room, and here's Dr. Wayan waiting for her, and he wants to explain to her, and she's going, yeah, but is Jack okay? And he's going, oh, look what I did here, you know, and I put this in, and you know, and then she goes, yeah, but where's Jack? And then she said, I could have killed me, because then I pop up over the window and wave to her.
Yeah.
And she goes, I could have killed you. I could have killed you for doing that. So, yeah.
Sorry, gents, dropped out again. Technical difficulties. I was worried about your story, Jack, so I thought I'd better.
Yeah, no, well, as I was just saying, he's got a game. He's got Seymour, see?
Yeah, Seymour, that's what it is.
Yeah, Seymour, you know, all those army people down there that are hogging all the internet, brother.
That's what's going on. Yeah. No, I'm glad he's come on and had a yarn about this, because I think
it's good, eh?
Yeah, it's always good. And you know, anyone out there, if you know, it's weird now, because you know, as you get older, that's what the topic of conversation is when you run into your old mates. You know, what's going on with you, what's happened with you, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and they're showing all the battle scars. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
But look, honestly, I was saying to Ray yesterday too, you know, like the other thing that you have to get into your head and understand about is the medication that they give you. And like I really struggle with that because I haven't been on any sort of medication all my life, and now like I've got about 6 meds that I'm on for the next few months, and we'll see how that goes after that. But it's just like it's okay. So I've got to take this one, got to take that one, and as I said to Ray yesterday, like my blood pressure is fine and my cholesterol is fine as well, but the cardiologist wants it down a little bit more, so he's giving me an aggressive medication that attacks the cholesterol to bring it down a bit further. So big, and look, I just loved how he explained it, and it makes so much sense that because there's now a foreign body in my heart, like that little metal stent, is so the blood's flowing through, but the blood wants to clot against the foreign body to heal that up. And if you have that, well, then you've got another clot, you've got another blockage, everything. So the way he explained it was fantastic. And then you sort of go, well, I do need these meds for now. And that's what happened. And as I said to you, CJ, I then went and seen our beautiful brother Amir, who is a homeopath, and he gave me some natural remedies as well to take, and I'm still taking them. And look, I felt immediately really good because I wasn't the pain after I left the cardiologist, but it was something like you could feel something, you know what I mean? So, and as soon as I seen Amir, that disappeared. So, yeah, he's a very special individual.
Yeah. I did give him a ring. He hasn't got back to me yet, so I might try him again.
He did. I spoke to him, and he did say he tried to get back there.
Not yet, no.
No, okay.
Not yet, no.
Give him another ring, bro.
I will. I'll give him another bell. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, especially with this new stuff. It sucks getting old, mate. You get all this stuff going on, the body starts to fail.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Nah. So
CJ, you've had it going on for 10 years. So how does that play on your mind? Like,
oh well, it's really you know how you talked about your father passing away early, like 40 something, and and my father, my parents, they died when I was like 13, so both from mum and dad. But I guess I look at it now as that I'm living the life that they missed out on living. You know what I mean? So I've got to carry the torch a bit in terms of being that person who is kind of like an elder in the family now, and I need to really talk to the young blokes about nephews and stuff about go and get themselves checked, all that kind of stuff. So, but also to experience a couple of things, I suppose, that I'm doing at the moment, like going back to Indonesia, where Jack was, because my great grandfather was Indonesian. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that I'm doing all that sort of stuff, but it also tells me that I'm doing okay. It's 10 years since I got the diagnosis. And it's really given me a lot of hope, I suppose, in terms of fulfilling some of those things that my eldest didn't do.
The other thing I wanted to congratulate you on, CJ, as well is like one day you just decided, and I can't remember how many years ago, it's probably 6 years ago.
6 years ago, yeah.
You decided to give up alcohol, and I just think that's just an amazing effort, So, and I must admit, like since, and it's only been since the 1st of May that I had my episode, but I haven't had a drop either. So, and I'm not overly missing it, to be honest. So, there is some things that but I just wanted to congratulate you on that too, brother. Because
cheers, mate.
Yeah, it was one day you go, that's it.
That's it. I'm off it. I've got enough going on.
And I'm not. And I think you said too. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna have another drink again. But
well, yeah, no, we haven't really. No, but I've got to confess that we had our, well, it's coming up as well. Our 40th wedding anniversary is at the end of this year. So I did say that I probably will yeah, maybe have a little
That's fair
toast.
enough. That's
Yeah,
fair
that's
enough.
it. You know, but I also talked about, I said to my son, and he's a heavy drinker, and I said, mate, you know, I like to appreciate, if I want to have a drink, I want to appreciate what I'm drinking. You know, so it's like if I love tiramisu, I only have one tiramisu, that'll do me. I don't go ahead and have 10 or 20 of them, you know, in one go. And he's scratching his head. He said, what are you talking about there?
You know why he's scratching his head? Because you're pre-diabetic, brother. So you won't be able to tell him ever again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really about appreciating it. You know, going. It's a different reason why I'll drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
his
no.
reason. Yeah, his reason. Yeah. So, but I won't have that many tiramisus. Probably one, maybe
What
two.
is it? 40 years, brother.
Yeah.
That's a long time, eh?
Yeah, it is sometime, brother.
I'm not saying anything else either.
But yeah, but it's all good, you know. And you come up with all these things.
Me and CJ are always in trouble, so it's
Mm.
only a matter of
That's why I like you, Jack. I reckon because I'm right with you. I might be south of 2 borders from you, but I'm suffering. Not. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I can't say that, can I? Self-inflicted
you
as
can say
well.
whatever you want, brother.
not suffering, self-infliction. 26 years.
Yeah,
26 years for me.
I didn't hear any of it, brother, so I'm not jumping in on that one.
Thanks for the support.
You're on your own, champ.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
See, we
geez,
are
man.
our own worst enemies, aren't we?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
our own biggest critics and our
Yeah.
own worst enemies.
100%. Hey, look, it's been fantastic having you on, Ray, and we'd love to get you on again down the track. I mean, as we always say, this has been going 6.5 years now, this little catch up. So it's something that, you know, we do out of love, and we love having you on. So it's really good. And I think like what it does for our mental health as well is something that really helps us as well. And it did in those early years, CJ, with the COVID stuff and all that. So.
Oh, mate, yes. There, you know, people don't realise how good they are, what they're doing. You know, they really inspire us. You know, so much. You know, it's kind of like a mutual thing that we get when we have a yarn with someone, just to get to hear your story and that, and say, wow, you know, that's great. And tonight, for instance, you know, you realising that you need to talk to people and you know, own that thing. I guess you know what I mean. It's really important that we kind of, you know, draw that out of you guys that come and visit us. You know, certainly there's a lot of things we can relate to. You know what I mean? It's been really, it's a long time, JB. 6 years, 6.5 years.
Yeah, 6.5, mate. So yeah,
and you're still talking to each other. That's impressive.
Yeah, I know.
I've got to put up with a lot, Ray, I can tell you.
Oh, COVID, yeah, that was nightmarish, wasn't it? We were in Victoria,
mate,
Melbourne for that.
Oh, you
guys, my God.
We did, so
yeah,
we had a lot of people ring in from Melbourne, come in from Melbourne, didn't they?
Yeah,
Victoria.
People really suffering with their mental health as well, and you know, like again, we do a lot of work in, you know, Melbourne and Victoria as well, and just seeing how much, you know, people suffered, you know, it really was sad. So,
and people are still, you know, lingering effects. I think, gents. So as much as we don't want to admit it, we lost some years there. And you know, I was lucky. I was fortunate. I was able to, you know, do a bit of work and, you know, get outside the ring of doom or whatever we called it. But a lot of people didn't get that opportunity. That's, you know, didn't do too many people favours, but you know, here's what it is. Well, I suppose we've got the future now. You know, don't drive the car looking in the rear vision mirror. I suppose you got to look out the windscreen.
That's it.
I think that's important, and you know, like we always, and we talk a lot about this, CJ. You know, about living for the now rather than, you know, like we can all live in yesterday if we want, but that's only if we want to keep on bringing up, you know, and a story and having drama and those sort of things. So, so So, and not that that's not like some of that's not important. I mean, it is. Let's be honest. You know, there's trauma everywhere for people, but you know, like I think that if we can live for now, it goes a long way to helping for our future. I think. So.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That noise, we've got to stop getting involved in that noise stuff. We can only get involved with stuff that we've got control over. You know what I mean? It's that stuff. Let that other stuff go. You know, it's nothing to do with us. But yeah, no, it's been really good, Ray. Nice to meet you, mate. I did see. I told JB. I said, "Oh, there was some guy by the name of Ray White. He wants to come on for a check-in." It came up on the Facebook page.
He goes, "Who's this bloke? You know this, right?" I said, "No, I don't know."
Real
mate.
estate. I was trying to.
Well, it's unusual.
Ray White,
Ray White Real Estate.
Yeah. I said, "What's going on?" Yes.
If you ever want to buy something, let me know. I'll hook you up. No problem.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
All right. No worries.
Well, thanks for having me, gents. Bloody awesome to chat with you.
Yeah, we'll keep yarning, brother, and there might be something that the three of us can do to raise some awareness and that. So let's keep the yarns going, and we'll get you back on, brother, and see how you're traveling in the near future. And thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you.